I want to close some documents first. I don't want anybody to see the contents. Let me close this first. Is it? Yes. In fact, we've done a lot together already, so this one alone. You'll be fooling yourself to think you don't have a secret. Everyone has a secret. Okay, so that one was telling us prime numbers. Is 2 a prime number? Yes. So 2, right? Which one again? Yes. 30, 70. Which one again? 23. Someone should write a code to put the first 100. Someone should write a code to put the first 31. 37. 37. It's not bad. What's the 21? What's the 21? What's the not bad? What's the one? There's 41 and which one again? 43. How long way to go? You're going to run. You're going to much. Someone should be able to write it. So this is what we have. And we should be able to write a code to produce this. Right? Now, when you are done producing this, a code that can tell you this is a prime number, this is a prime number. Then you need another code that will calculate the difference between this and this. Okay. Are you okay? What's the difference?
1.
What is the difference between this and this?
2.
This one, 2. This one, 4. This one, 2. This one is 2, right? And then here, 4. So you should write a code to check the difference. Any of the two numbers, then the difference is 2, and they are prime twins. They're like they are twins. That's just all. So if you want to check which of these two are twins, the difference should be 2. And to be able to do that, first of all, you should be able to write all the prime numbers. Now when you get them, before you start checking the differences between the first and the next, the difference between the first and the next. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Basically what will happen is, all this one is going into an array. If you put them into an array, you are only checking if, let's say, array, if this is 1. So you are checking if this is equal to array of 1 plus 1. So this will be index 1, this will be index 2. So it will be in the loop that way. You know, in the loop, this one will be I. So you will have I, and this will be I plus 1. That is all. So if the difference, this minus this, if this minus this is equal to 2, then that means the number at this position and the next number, they are twins. That is all for that. That is all for that. So let's move to what we want to do today. This one, I'll expect it Monday. Yeah, with this clue, we should be able to. Come again. Yes, I'll advise create a function to check whether it's a prime number first. Are you okay? And then use that prime number here. But you can put that prime number code directly here too. And then so you continue. But no, you are producing those two numbers in this format. Let's say the question is, let's say prime twins less than 100. So you list them. You have 3, 5, and you will have 5, 7. Which one again? 11, 13. Which one again? So this is how you listing them. Yeah, produce them that way in this bracket form. This is how the output should be. Yeah, go on. But you get the point that we have to get all the prime numbers, then we check the differences. Those in brackets. Yes. So you are now reproducing this one, but you are ignoring those whose differences are not 2. They will not come into the brackets. So let's say the difference between this and this is 2. So that means as part of your bracket, you also have 21 and 23. The difference between this and this is not 2. So you will not. This and this is not. This and this. So you will have another bracket of 57 and then 59. And then this, so that's why you'll be listing in your bracket. This is not what we want, the whole of this. This is what we actually want, this format. Are you on track? So that is it for that one. And this one, let's get some sample. This one you will have to read the question first and understand what they are saying. Question 19. Let's check question 19. Yes, this one there is straight away. There is I mean it. There's no loop things. It's just if things. So this one is straight away. You just have to understand what you're supposed to do. So employees at StarHub are paid at an annual rate of 50 Ghana per hour of coding for regular hours, and then 1.5 times per hour for overtime. So let's say you are a staff here. If you code for 1 hour, you are paid this. That is for regular time. But if that time you coded is an overtime, then you'll be paid this 1.5 of this. Are we getting it? So in any hour worked over 40 hours, yes, per week is overtime. If hours you've worked in a week is more than 40, then all the excess is overtime. So that means no matter the hours the person worked, the first 40 will have this price per hour, and then anything else we have this by 1.5 times the excess hours. Are we following? That is just so. And then employees pay tax based on this. If gross. So if the person's gross is below this, then the person is not paying tax. If the person's gross is between this, is paying this tax, and that's all. And then in addition, 6% of an employee gross is withheld for SNIT. SNIT is 3%, 6% is withheld for educational welfare is 3%, and then charity is 2%. If an employee has more than 3 dependents, then this one is straight. Who tried it? Well, let's see what where are we? What hours corresponds to this? 40 hours. If someone works for 40 hours, what would the person get? Based on this criteria. If someone works for 40 hours, that's 2,000. There's some allowances somewhere. Or you want us to do it? I'm struggling to skip it. I just want to find a way we understand that we skip it. Or you prefer we do it? We should do it. Yeah, it's this one is too simple. It's too straight away. This one we can do it. Let's take it to weekends. Let's see what we want to do today. You know, all this we've been doing right here, we are keying the 40. All these values, we are keying it there. But we want to look at it from another angle, that the one who will come to your site, that person will key in these values rather. Are we okay? Not you the one doing this hard coding and putting in these values, 40 days. We want to push that to the user. So when the user comes to the site, the user will rather have access to key in these values and get the answer. Are we okay? So in this case, it won't be like fixed 40. The user can put in anything at all. That is where this form come in. And at the HTML, we did a lot for the form. We know how to create it. So straight away, let me close this and then we start afresh. So let me close this. Let me take away this altogether. Like, why we have extension as PHP? You know, there are possibilities HTML can be here. Are you okay? If you don't bring this, it should still work. But any file you have, there are possibilities that file can also have how do you call it, HTML. So you are just kind of giving sections to the code you are doing. I think we've done a lot without writing this. Some of the previous ones we did. Okay, this one has it. Now, okay, didn't even recognize it. I think I've gone through this hell before. I've gone through this hell. I was typing, it wasn't recognizing anything. So it's not an option. Yeah, it's not an option. Because if you type echo, it's not seeing it. So
just like
yeah. So, but the whole idea of these ones coming is there is possibility of other things that are not PHP. So it makes sense if it says I will see this before I will interpret it as PHP section. So that's it. Let's say in our function we want to have this. Now, first of all our code, let's take it to a file and name that file function. All code we've done, this testing function we've been doing, let's create a file inside PHP and then name it function. This is the structure here. Some did this in the index. Let's take them out. Create a file here, call it function, and put all the code there. Let's do that separation of concern quickly. Every function you've created, copy everything. Go to, you should have a folder called PHP. Let's paste it in it. Yes. Maybe what you have also done. Just did you put that one in this folder?
Yes.
Okay, then whatever you have done, add it to this. Or if you don't want mine to, you can delete mine, then you put yours there. The option is entirely up to you. So let's have a folder called PHP. And then everything we've done in the index, the functions, we've done in the index. Let's move them to the PHP function. So let me delete these two. We'll create new ones. Lyrica, are you on track? Agile programmer. Today you've done shifting cultivation. Here is not a fertile ground there. Huh? This is where she's supposed to be. Let's move on. Let's move on. So, are we done, please? So, what we are going to look at is form handling. We are going to work with forms. That is why you use to get the user's input for your processing. And we've been given some words or like variables to use. Are we okay? There are specific variables that will help us to get what the user type, and then we can start working with it. Are you okay? So they are called global variables. They are called. I hope you've done something like that in JavaScript. Yeah. Let's see. Just a few of them. So I'm calling this form. There's a file for so example of this. Who can give me one? The global variables. They are variables, but like predefined in PHP that you can use to access data from user inputs. And they are global because you can make reference to them at different sections of your program, not specifically to the scope you declare it. Okay, let me ring the bell. There is this one. Yeah, so which one again? Which one again? Delete. This. Which one again? Put. Patch. That definitely should be so or option. Whatever the list is, we are interested in these two: posts and gets. Are we okay? This post and get is also fixed here. Is it a request? Yeah, it's like they've merged it to this request. So if request can handle post data, it can handle get data. There is that one. There is I think server, right? There is server. There is this server variable, and there are many. But what we want to use, just these two: the post and the get. And like I said, you use this one to get what the user inputted into the form, and then you start working with it. I've said already, we don't want something like this. Like we will be putting in the values this way. We want the user to be able to do that. So how do we get it? When the user put it there, that is where we're making use of these two key global variables. Are we, Malik, are you on track? Boss, you are on track. Baki, are we safe? You can continue. So that is this. Now, who can tell me the difference? If you're a teacher, this is your advantage. You can see things. You can see what you like. Who can tell me the difference? Lilika, what is the difference?
What do you forget?
I know, I will not forget. You can't tell me to forget. Yes. Okay.
Like you are sending a thing.
Okay.
And yes, when you are getting a response from what you say.
Feedback. Is that right? This satisfy you. Newman, all the difference. What's the difference? Awal. You don't know. Are you sure this one you can think and get it? It's like Boolean. Like, you know, you don't know, you don't know.
The get is used to fetch the information from the user.
The get. So you buy these guys. Okay. Black. Baki. What's the difference? Come again. The same thing. That this one is used to send, right? And this one is to get. There's a design problem. the name they use, people are guessing around the name. Aziz, can you help us? What's the difference? Yes, what's the difference? It's used to. Okay. To create an instance of a resource. And this one gets. That's the same as they are saying.
Security-wise, when you use the code, it hides information, the information that you request from the client or the user to see in the browser. But in respect of the get, when you use the get to give up the information or anything, they can see whatever.
Okay, who else? Yeah.
Then the get sends request parameters using URLs. First post sends request parameters using the body.
Yes. Mm. Who? Okay. So let's see. But the key difference I'm looking at is, let's look at it this way. Let's create a form. Let's all create a form. Let's do it.
Inside the PHP.
Yeah, inside the PHP, create a file called form. And then create HTML form in it. How do I even create HTML? Okay, something like this. Or if I don't even bring this one, I should still be able to write my form. So any two things, let's say is it the PHP? No, I want the form, the HTML, but save the file as PHP. Yeah, but I want the HTML form, we know. I can have label and then this way, let's say username, and then there will be input, the type, we will use text for it. And we have you see name is I'm calling it uname, and then ID, I'm calling it ID name, so something like this. So this label is for this. This label is for this. So I can duplicate it, and then this will be password. So here will be let me call it user password. So ID will be password. So this label is for this input, and then let's say we will have input type button name let me say button name ID, let me call it submit. The name is submit. So ID submit, value submit. These things are not new to us. We are just revisiting. So this, and then let's see in our browser if all is well with us. So we'll have 4.php. Okay, I am lucky. Who else? Ansura, are you done? For HTML, you have to struggle to get it wrong. Anything you do easily work. Can we move on? Or small time? What? It's conflicting with, yeah, they are struggling. I hope it's clear. It's just a normal form we've done several times. The only thing in it is this password and username and password. That's all. Okay, you're done. Okay, that's fine. So let's see, when we have something like this, or let's do it this, okay, we can still, I want to do some processing. Let's say username, it can be anything, right? This can be anything. Now, for example, if this one was number 1 and then number 2, number 1, number 2, that we are to add, right? Let's say we had a function that was adding 2 numbers, right? And then we were supplying the 2 numbers, but now we want the one who will visit the site to supply the 2 numbers. So in that case, using that same scenario, when the user enter here, let's say this, number 1 is this, number 2 is this, how do we get those 2 numbers so that we can continue to work with that in our function here? Are we okay? So this is what we have to do. There are 2 ways. Always remember the separation of concern. So you can capture it here, right? Or you can have a new file that will be PHP to capture those details. Are we okay? Yes. So going by the principle of separation of concern, I will leave the HTML in this file. Then I'll create another file for the PHP section of it. So I'll call this, yes. Now any file with the extension PHP will be in the PHP folder. Any file with the extension of CSS will be in CSS folder. So in the same PHP folder, I'm creating another file, and then maybe I'll call it let me say form processor, or like, yeah, something like that, .php. I don't want trouble, so let me just put it this one around it. So let's create another file, just as I've done. In that same PHP folder, create another file and call it form processor. Form processor. So basically you will have 2. One is the form itself, and then 2, the one that will process the form. Are you done? Where is that? Are you okay? So this is where we are going to capture what the user typed in the form, and the little we did, let me make this one first. You can use both, any of them. Are you okay? You can use the get to get what the user has typed. You can use the post to get what the user has typed. So it's not like one is for sending, one is for receiving. Are you okay with that? You can use either of them to to get what the user has typed and submit to the server. So let's try and use one of them. So this is the structure, post. Now inside here is the name of control, or let's make it HTML control. Are we okay? If you are using post, you write a $_post, then these guys will come, and inside here is the name of the HTML control. That was why I brought these two. It's for a purpose. You know, there's an ID here. Yeah. The ID is this. There is a name here, and the name is this. When you are getting what the user type, you will use the name. So here, this is what I use, the word I use. So that means inside here will be this word. If here I type something like test username, then that means in this global variable here will be username, not the ID. Please, are you okay with that? The control, the input type can have a text, it can have it can have a name, it can have an ID, it can have a value. Let's take note. If you want to get it from the user, your global variable is picking the name. The name you gave to the control, not the ID. Now, what is the difference? The ID and the name. But are we clear? We are memorizing that. Is the name you use. But why can't I use the ID? Or what is the difference between the name and the ID? Yes.
The ID, you'll be using it locally within the code, but the name is where the user will be using to send his request.
Okay, that is a try. You've done well. Yes, any other idea? The difference? Doesn't mean it hasn't confused you before. You've not come across a form, there is ID, there is a name, and you don't know which is which. If you are not even careful, you will see value. There will be name, there will be ID, there will be value. But the key one I want us to get is the difference between the name and then the value. The name is what is used at the server side. Are we okay? And the ID is used at the client side. So that's why when we're using CSS, we use the ID. So this ID is there. If you want to apply CSS to this text box, you will use the ID. But in your coding, you will use the name. Please, are we clear with that? The ID and the name. The value, what you give to the ID is what you will use with CSS. That's the front end. But the coding you will do at the server side, it is the name you gave here that you will use. So let's revert to this. And then this is, the value is what will display in the browser. For example, if I add value here, I say name. If I come here and I refresh, see that name is inside here. Yeah, that is it. But there is small difference. For example, if I refresh like this and I want to type, the name is there unless I clear it off. You get it? But the placeholder once you click inside the button, then you realize it's gone already. Please, how do you spell it? Hold up. And then here can be like a description. Enter your name or enter number 1. So if you try this, you see it's this way. So once you click, then it goes. So that is it, the ID and the name. So this is how you get it. That name, whatever the person type in this section, this is how you capture it. So let's complete the PHP structure so that we can see it well. So this is it. That's all. This is how I'll capture what the person typed. Now, for example, if it's number 1, number 2, and I want to add them, then I'm just going to add these 2. But you see, it's somehow horrible how it looks when using it in calculations and other things. So you can easily assign this to a variable, then be working with a variable rather. Are you okay with that? So instead of, maybe if I want to say echo, I'll echo this. I can push this one into a variable. Or this is num1. So if I put this in num1, I'll put num2 in num2. Now instead of multiplying this or adding this, and then something like, I'll do this, and then maybe here is let's say num2. And then let's say here is num1. I can assign the 2 into variables and then work with the variable. So basically that is that. So let's declare a variable like username and assign it to it. We are going to do the same thing for, I think here is username. So we are going to do the same thing for user pass. I think this password, and then here is this one is you, right? It's username, and then how did we spell it? This is it. This is the name. Let's make sure we got it right. So this is it. So instead of working with them here direct, I've now assigned them to a variable. So from there, it's just like you working how you were doing the calculations in functions, depending on what you're supposed to do. Are we okay? Please, who is not clear up to this point? Come again. Okay. This one, the name equal to the value, whatever you will type here, that is what you'll be capturing here. Okay. This one. Yeah, it could be any variable name. Any variable name. This is what I'm going to use for processing now. But this is in the form. What is here is in the form. It must be exactly as it is in the form. But what you use here can be anything you want. You just have to follow the criteria for variable declaration in PHP. That's all. So now let's see if we echo, yes.
You mandatory that the variable name should be the same thing as the one in there.
No, I have not said something like that.
Or it's like the
No. What matters is what you type here should be the one inside here. This one is entirely up to you. No matter how you will name it, it's up to you. You just have to follow the criteria of naming a variable. Are we okay? So let's say I'm echoing the name. That's all. Just like how we were echoing at the beginning of PHP. after getting the values from the user, what to do next depends on the question. And it's the same process you do in PHP that you have to. If you have to go through a for loop, if you have to go through a while, if you have to work with array, whatever you have to do. What matters here is getting what the user type inside here and here, so that when you click this, you will get them in these variables. So what to do next is entirely up to you. Can we move on? Now, let's try and display this. So now, let's ask ourselves, which one are we displaying? Is it this form or this form? The form is here, but the variables are here. Are we okay? So let's see something. You know, for this one, definitely, if you open, you've gotten your form.
Yes.
So now, let's work with this also. Rename. So I have this, right? Let's see what is there. Undefined index. In fact, it can work with this. You understand? So you have to find a way to link it to the form. Are you following? You have to find a way to link this file to the form so that PHP will know, okay, this is where these things are coming from. So to do that, your form, you give it an attribute. Action. Action indicates which form is doing the processing. Are you okay with that? So I'll just put this one here. This is the form doing the processing. Now, how do I want to send this data to the server? That is where the two global variables we initially talk of comes into play. Now, let's try this. This is another method. Then you say, I'm going to use post. Or let me say, I'm going to use get. Let's use get first. So this is the connection between this file and this file. This is the connection between this form file and the form processing file. And here, if like this file was in another directory, you will have go through the same process as how we were doing the HTML. If there is the need for you to go to the root first before you can get the file, or when you go back to the root, there is a folder called, let's say, processes, and it is inside, you follow the same thing. If inside the PHP, there is a file called, let's say, processes. Inside the PHP folder, there's a file called processes. You type it before the slash. It's the same thing you use when doing the linking. But because this file and this are in the same folder, that is why just the name alone is enough. So now let's see what we will see in our browser. The form is asking us for username. This thing is misleading. Where are you? So the placeholder is username. So yeah, username any name you prefer to use as a username, then password, and then let's see what we are getting. Okay, what is happening? I need an error. So action form. Or is supposed, or the keyword is submit. Is it? Isn't? Yes, once you get this one right, it will automatically know how to pull the content from the form. So that is what I'm looking at. This submit. Let me see, submit. So we have okay, so this makes sense. You see, it has been able to link to that form and it's telling us a story. So this one gives hope. This one. This one. No, this one can be anything.
You know, from where the metric. Here we are in the processor, form processor. We are using tools.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's see something. We come back, we type this, Actually, it's working, but it's telling us undefined variable. Come, let me see something. If I bring it here and I change this one to the actual form, is everyone getting the same error? Undefined username. Yeah. You got the same? I thank God I'm not alone. So let's all fix it. This is post. Okay, so here is submit. I wrote button. You know, there is another input type button, right? That is the HTML5. So it's not because of its location. So everyone should correct his own. We are all struggling together. So this is input type, text name is this. Then you have different story. Make sure the file name is correct. This one that you are going to put here, make sure it's correct. So Let me see if after this to tell the whole story. Okay, it's not seeing this also. username. Let me see. Come again. You get? You have gotten Kaunda. And then you are lucky. What did you do right? Nothing is showing. But you've echoed something. Someone is getting it, so that means we are on right track. Or maybe you have to fix error somewhere so that it will work. Bring it and let me see. It will type, it will print. Here.
Yeah, it will give me like
it will give you.
It will give me the program line and it will give me the username.
Yeah, that means yours is working also. What we are focused on is supposed to echo the name you put there. It will work for them. So yeah, it's supposed to copy that one. That's okay. I don't know why. Who else? If yours is working, then do this change. Change this to get. And then here you use get. Yours is working. If you click on the button, nothing shows. You see, the same thing is working for get. I just changed to get. I hope this is how the post is spelled. So post. This is interesting. So is it? This one. Type is submit. Name is submit. The name. The name can be anything. that you will use in a code. It's actually working for get. I don't know why it's not working for post. Is it? If I change this one to
I've changed my both the form and the form answer to post. And it's working.
yes. Looks like I'm the unlucky one. If I make here get, it works. You see, if if I use get, it's working. If I use boost, get is not working. Okay, let's do this. Let's change this form to accept two numbers. That's fine. That's fine. Seeing the name means you've actually gotten what the user typed in a variable. So from there, you decide what to do with it. So let's modify this form to accept number 1, number 2, and then the user operation. Are you okay? Whether the addition, we've done this function. We have function for addition, right? Inside this, somewhere we've done function for addition. The arithmetic function. Now let's make use of that. So let's modify this to accept first number, second number, and then the operator. And then let's get it into variables like this and assign that variables to our arithmetic function and then echo it. Let's do that. There is somewhere here arithmetic. We did it somewhere here. Or it's somewhere. If I don't have it, but if I don't have it, you should have it. Because we did it in class. We created addition function. We created addition function. We created division function. We created, and we joined all into another function called arithmetic. I hope you remember that.
Yes.
Now we want to use that function arithmetic, but the values, let's get them from the form. How is this thing not working with? This is type tests. I hope it's clear what we have to do. It's not clear. So what were you doing? Do you have the arithmetic function? It accepts 3 values, right? Now allow the user to enter those values through the form. Instead of you going to the function and putting the values there, the user should enter the values through the form here. There should be first number, second number, and a third test for operator. whether plus, minus, division, and then get those three parameters or those three arguments, and then capture them this way, and from here use them in your function, the arithmetic, to display. If the user want to add, you add. If the user want to subtract, then you subtract. Finally, we still have the arithmetic function.
Yeah.
If you don't even have it, you can create it easily. The form. If this is getting you confused, you can just do away with it and then type here, let's say first number, right? And then take this one away and then type second number. But it's a form of binding the two for CSS. If you want to format the two together, it helps you. So you can go away straight and type them. So you are saying this label actually is for this text box. You get it? And that is why the name you will use here is what you are going to use here, indicating that this description here is for this input and this description here is for this input.
So with the arithmetic, are we still maintaining the function or the way we declare the variables here? Are we doing the same thing or we are maintaining the function?
Maintain the function. Mark, are you on track?
I'm at the bottom. I'm receiving the data. Select submit.
Nothing shows.
Yes, it's not happening.
Well, you are done with the form, getting the number 1, number 2, and the operator, and you've typed these ones,
Yes.
and then here you've done this linking.
Yes.
The function, is it in this form, in this file, the arithmetic function?
No, I mean, I'm just at the first part where I'm linking the form page to the HTML.
So at this part, which file name is here?
I have form -pro.php.
The arithmetic function, is it in that file?
Yes. I have it.
The arithmetic we did the other time.
No, I haven't got to this.
With this one.
Yeah, I'm just with this one.
It's not like this arithmetic.
Yeah, I mean, when I submit, I don't get the data.
You don't get the data.
Yes.
Bring it and let me see. Let's take note. If your arithmetic function, you don't copy it here, then you can't use this. Are you okay? The file in which it is, that is the file name you put here. Well, that is where you want to. The form processor. Where is it? Into this form processor. It will go to leave that folder file called function. Link it to that file. You can
attributes like name and link it.
yes. This
Full arithmetic arithmetic form.
come again.
Are we copying like a function for subtract plus an arithmetic, or only the arithmetic part?
Who remember this? We did this. You get it. So you can use that. You get it. Instead of copying your code here, you can include that file. You do include and then the location of that file, you can use it to work. Let me see.
Yeah.
Sure the file is open. I've cleared everything, is still showing.
Coming, let me understand it. It has been giving me problem.
I'm looking at so you see, this is the file. You see, if I'm saving, that means it's not going into that file. It's going somewhere different. This is what we have. So that means this one is not in that folder. When you get file. Okay, this one works. The values you typed. This one's worked. So that means you've opened this. This is a different file. That's why you're not seeing the changes.
Also, like also.
So close this and then reopen it and make sure you're in the right directory. Please have I said this one. Now let's see. I don't have the.
So I can send it to you.
I was actually coming to create it.
Send me it.
I'm not connected. This I can use some 3 minutes, 2 minutes to be. We have function arithmetic. So it will take number 1, number 2, number 1, number 2, and then we have operator. So I'll have this, and then I'll switch case my operator. Switch. So I'll have case plus. Then I'll return num1 plus num2. Then I'll break. Then case minus, I'll return num1 minus num2. I'll break. Then case, I'm using the multiplication sign. Return this multiplication. So num1 times num2. Then I'll break, and then kills divide. Then I'll have return num1 divided by num2. Break. So let's say I have this. This is my function, right? Now I want to use that function here. They are all in the same folder. Say what? See, they are all in the same folder. My function, this one, they are all there. So I want to get everything in the function folder. Are we okay? I can copy this and then paste here. Here. Are you okay? Or I can just call it here. And that's so meaning all the content there is now available to me. So let's see, we are modifying this a bit to let's do away with these guys. They are blinding us. So this is num1. I'm calling this num1, and I'm calling this num2. So in my processor here, I'll call num1. Is that right? Then num2. That is all. I'll need the operator. So let me just duplicate this, and I'll call this operator. Here can be anything, or I'm just ignoring it. So I'll have here, then I'll have operator. So now I have it. So I'm just going to echo arithmetic, and then let's make this num1, and then I'll make this num2, and then this variable will be operator or op. You are not.
That's the good that you put out and the functions speak. Ain't you supposed to echoes anything?
This one, I'm returning it. I'm returning. So it will make it available for me to get it here. Are you okay? This one will give me a value, so I can concatenate it with some other text to make something meaningful. Are you okay? So here, let's get this. These names you are using in the form, there's no match somewhere they have to be the same name. Are you okay? This can be different variables altogether. So this is it. So this is the first one. The second one is this, and then the user's operator also comes here. So this will give you the value depending on what the person type. Let's refresh this. So what is the placeholder? Let's clear, or let me see, enter num1. Then this will say enter num2, and then this will tell you enter arithmetic operator. So let's see these ways. What is wrong? Operator. So okay, this is fine. So I have num1, num2. Operator I'm going to use is plus 35. That's all. So if I go back and then that same thing, I type division, right? If you press -11, the arithmetic, the function is here, all right. Are you okay? It's in this file called function. Inside that is where I have the arithmetic. Are you okay? So if I come here, I want to make use of the arithmetic function here. I can recreate the function here, or I can call this file, the whole of this file here, using this word. That means everything here is now accessible here. And they say that is the same, like straight away, you just call your function. That function that is here, you call it using this one here. So it's like the whole of this 360 lines of code is now here. And we are using it. So that is all. It will look for this. You get it? I'm using a function, so it will look for the function in it. And when it sees it, it's going to transfer these three operators to the function. These three operators. That is it here, that is it here. And depending on which one you are working, this is returning the answer. So you can get the answer to whatever next process you have to do. So that is just all. That is everything. So
with the function file and then the arithmetic
fine. No, I don't have arithmetic file. The function is inside the arithmetic. The reverse. Yeah.
The arithmetic code into the function file, or because I am having the arithmetic file.
Yeah, so in that case, here you will not call function, you will call arithmetic. Me, everything we've been doing, I've been doing it inside this. So I have my function file, the arithmetic code inside this function. So whichever file you have that has the arithmetic code, that is what you use here. If it's in a directory, remember, your slash will come, or your backslash the same way.
You don't need to echo arithmetic here.
The arithmetic.
Yeah.
No, like you don't echo it here. You know, we were echoing to see the results. That is why if you do travel, we echo travel. You get it? But now this is not where we need to see that answer. So inside here there is nothing like echo. We are not echoing anything here, and then we are not echoing something like this, because we want to use that answer at this place. So this is where maybe you can concatenate it with any text you want to. Something like, let's say, num1 plus, then you have num2 is equal to this, something like this. So let's see, num1 is this, num2 is this. If I put plus, what is it saying? At my concatenation, let's look at it again. There should be full stop here. You get it? Then 1 plus this is equal to this. Or instead of using the word plus, you can actually use the operator, so that in case you don't use plus and you use minus, it will still be correct. This minus this. If you use division, it will be this divided by this. Please, the whole show, who doesn't get it? We should go over. Little, is it little Adia or little? Huh? Nana Lisa. Wow, this is. Are you This gives the answer, and I want to just decorate it small. That's why I added this, so that we know what we did. Yes, someone said the whole show. Who again? Yes. This one.
Like you call your function in the form here, in the form process.
Yes.
So you function your situation. Like in the arithmetic lesson, we are equating arithmetic and then substituting
No, you don't need it there. Now let's do a rewind. Yes. File here. This one is just a normal HTML. This one. This function we created long time ago. These are on my. You've gotten the answer. Dollar sign. Come again. I don't have. I'm not connected, but I'll push it. The form processor. That's the easiest one. Do away with all this. This is just all. No, the arithmetic function is in which file? Yeah, then leave it everything there. No, these ones are variables. Or you mean in the function folder, in the function? The AB, you mean the AB here or? No, it doesn't change anything. These are just placeholders. I can decide to call it my wife. It will work.
This is AB and the files I made it num1.
No. Here you make it num1.
Yeah.
It doesn't change anything. They are just variable names.
And it's not
Let's do a quick review. Shake your head. Okay.
Like I have the file secretly. I have expenses of PhD. I have assignment. So can you include all of them here?
Yes.
Like include functions of PhD, include arithmetic.
Yes. Provided what you are coming to do here, you need some functions from all those ones. You can just paste, and then here will be different file names. And then that means you've come for, you have to look at your function. Full process. So we'll have to go and check. Where is the class operator? This is the class operator. And what is the addition? The plus sign. Okay, so now here what you do is we are not equal, you return it, okay? It's not this, it's what is the result. You want to go and do the result somewhere. You get it. So you type return there. Agia programmer. Why is not working? Cannot get.
Yes. Oh. My name comes.
Where should I go? Line 3. Where is line 3? Form process.
What is
this? No, you don't have to look at mine. What is that?
Operator.
I think the figures. I put one here. And I think they give me.
Hey, this is why you are getting
the errors, they are not disappearing.
the errors.
The answer is
And that missing argument. The answer is supposed to be 4. Missing argument. Okay, I'm coming. Let's see, I get programmer.
No Shakira, when I'm doing something,
but the answer is come. Undefined what you're
when I'm doing something,
The answer is not correct.
you are getting. Yeah, then we need this.
when you use one, when you use one,
No, 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 no.
What is that?
No, you've not designed another form. You are still using. You are now designing number 1, number 2. Okay, we get it. That's the operator. So let's call it
Abdullah.
we are not doing CSS.
Now you give me, I have to rub it. Equal.
That is the word we use here.
Add, function, add, multiply. You have to take those ones out. And then leave the arithmetic. Then
So I have to leave there.
arithmetic, you realize it's being equal. So you move the equal, then you turn the
Yeah, I took those ones out. This, okay, return. So here, if it for this case plus, so there should be A plus B. This case minus return A minus B. This time, so
There is something I want to see in my browser, but I'm not seeing it. Or is it Opera that behaves that way? You are supposed to see the data in. Do I have Chrome? Yeah, I have Chrome.
There's a big ball.
Ahem. Let's see something. You see the values I keyed.
yeah.
You see, they are here. Are we following? This is it. Let's say 4 plus 7 divided. The operator is division. Now, this is the answer it's giving me. But when you click in the browser, you see the values here. Are you okay? We are seeing the 4, we are seeing the 7. And the operator is there. This is what get does. This is what get does. So if you use get, know that the values you are typing will be part of the URL. Are we okay? Now let's change it to posts and see. I don't know, my post was pulling me. Posts. Here is posts. If it doesn't work, I'll ignore it. And then here we are sending it via posts. Via posts. So the same thing. Let's come back. This. Don't mind. Try it on your machine and see if it will work. Change the get to post. Now the post it will be telling me stories. But if the post you use, that one you not see the values. Ajia, go and continue yours. Boss.
Every time she wants someone to solve the problem, take it and go.
So, get one, get greater get now check the URL.
I send you.
I see. You not see the data there. I'm the only bad guy. Mine is not working. So what is the disadvantage of the post?
Disadvantage of
Come again. No, you have your predefined answer and you wanted to give, but the question isn't that way. I said, what is the disadvantage of the post? The advantage of the get. No, I'm saying it's the disadvantage of the post. What is the disadvantage?
I wanted to say it's the disadvantage of the
No, I want the disadvantage of the post. Agile programmer. Yeah, how to find index number 1. What is index? That one is different error. Logical, so that one you can go and look at it. Why it's not working? What is the arithmetic? What is it? Yeah, the arithmetic function. What did you say? It's in function. The arithmetic is supposed to be here. What is it? The arithmetic is supposed to be here. What is it? No, I just created it. But we did it long time ago. It's not in mine, so I created it again. This code. This code. I just did it. Yeah, put it here. This one you said, you are saying there is this formula inside here, but it's not there. Let me search. Arithmetic is not there. So go and create it.
That's it.
Yes, you create it and come back right now. Go and create it. Giving the answer. Please, I'm requesting for that. What is it? The disadvantage of the post. Error unexpected on line 7. Yeah. Let me see where you did the assignment. That should be the third one. What? So we Just test that one. You get it? Header. That's all. Okay, so it's correct. So that means okay. This has to close. Or yeah. Either it's not there or it closes. Come again. Yeah. You know, get you see it. So I want to know what is the disadvantage of not seeing that? Yeah. Advantage, let's say, is obscurity. Like, people will not see it. But that doesn't mean the post is secure and the gate. The only advantage is people are not seeing, but behind the scene, the processing is the same. Are you okay with that? So you don't use this like you want your system to be secured. You just don't want people eye to see it. But man in the middle attack, whatever can capture them. You know, if you are to bookmark a page, if it's post, you can't. You get it? If your site sends data using post, that means that page cannot be bookmarked because you don't have the full URL. Does that make sense? Or maybe there is a file, or like you visit a site, you want to share with someone, you can't. You will see it, but when you copy to the person, the person will click, but it will not show because he's not getting the full path to the file. So that is just the disadvantage of the posts. You can't bookmark. You didn't understand. Let's say, for example, if I come to this page, let's see, if I open this, let's say slash something slash something slash, you get it? And I find some page here, let's say calculation, so I'll say arithmetic.php. Let's say I visit this link and I'm able to see a function that calculates, let's say, that does this arithmetic operation. I can copy and share with, let's say, Jalil, because I have the full path of the link. But if it's post, I can't copy and share with him because I don't have the full path to where that particular page is.
So that's that. Is it best to use install?
It depends. It depends. Definitely, you don't want people to see password. So if it's password, and there's another thing. Get has a limit. Are we okay with that? Let's say slash your URL, the limit. Get has a limit. I think it's around 2,000 or so. So if you have to send a link or a data that has more than that 2,000 something characters, that means you can use get. It slightly varies based on browser, but it's somewhere around 2,000. So if you have to send data that has very long URL, somewhere like 3,000, then that means you can use get, because get has a limit, but post limit is very, very high. Very, very high, especially when you are dealing with APIs. You get it? You can send like a full XML in the URL, like very long. So if it is on length, you can use get. You have to by force use post, because that one the maximum limit is higher. Okay.
Any other sites before
Any answer is prefixed by 1.
This one is supposed to be by
1 minus 1. Let me see. Give it a fixed value. It's like doing binary division. Where is it? Return this is supposed to give 1.
but there's written 1. You see the one, that one there.
So we should consider here. Where we get to the values.
And when they come right over and make something this one,
I'm coming in. Let's see this last thing and close. Now, for example, who has heard of SQL injection before? SQL injection, SQL injection. Yeah. SQL injection. Okay, then assignment. Let's read around it so that Monday we can continue for you to explain. That is all. The whole thing is, let's clear it, but let's do further reading on that. The whole thing is, now you have a form. Now you have a form, right? Someone is typing, you are expecting, let's say this, or you are expecting a number, or maybe you are expecting letters like alphabet for name and number. There is this key, this apostrophe. It can split your code, or if I say it can terminate your code. Are we clear? For example, let's say if you type something like this is select all from member loan. Is it displayed? If I connect to this projector, my things jam. If I do this, let's see where, okay, let's use the big brother. So if let me see this one. I think there's some small data in this. So if I do let's say from, I think there is this thing called employee, right? Okay, there is this. Okay, there's data in this. Then I say where employee ID is 1. I'm getting this data, right? Now, if you echo this in PHP and someone puts the value the person is entering, if he puts this, you see it has cut this part away. Are you okay? Or if the person put this, it has cut the where condition away. So in that case, it's only this part that will run. This part will not run. It might not give you trouble, but if it is delete from this where employee ID is 1 and the person casts this part away, that means once you press the OK, it's deleting every data in it. Of course, this is it. You are deleting based on where the condition is 1. Delete
Start.
delete. Okay, this one makes sense. Like there is this information, this employee has done something somewhere. Are you okay? Maybe they've logged him somewhere. So if you delete him here, that log, they will not know who did it. That's this referential integrity is talking about. Or maybe you are here, they've recorded your children somewhere. So if they take you out, your children will be redundant. They will not know which father owned it. Is it?
Yeah, it's a primary.
No, it's a primary key. But what I mean is, this employee is another table. We are recording his information somewhere, so you don't allow data to be deleted that way. Now, the whole thing I'm saying is, if someone key into that field you've created in your form, and he brings something like this, he has split your code into 2. Are you okay? And when that executes, everything in your table will delete. And so there are some characters that are dangerous, very, very dangerous. So inserting this type of characters, that is what is called SQL injection. It's an attack. So you just come and see how you are handling your input. Is it that right when the user type, you are sending to the database, then he can add something and that thing will go, and then we'll go and split your queries into 2. And so whichever thing you want to get from the user, make sure you sanitize it. Are you okay? You clean it before you send it to your database. And so there is a function for that. Like here, there is this function, HTML something something. HTML, this special characters. I think it's this. This one. This function. So before you assign to a variable and work with a variable, make sure you use this one to sanitize what the user keyed. If there are things like that, it will take them away. You can build your own function to look through and get them, but there are already ones here like this you can use. So instead of going it direct, I'll do this, then I'll assign it. I'll assign that thing to this function first. So the function will clean it before it will assign the final value to my variable here. Then from there I can move on. So whatever you are picking from the user, make sure you sanitize it first. You clean it to take all those things that could cause you trouble. And this is the function that does it. Are we clear with that? So the same thing will happen here Instead of assigning this direct, I'll do this, put it in it. So internally, to do the cleaning, take away all dirty things before it will. And then from here, I can continue to move on. Are you okay? Now there is another thing. Finally, you don't want to. For example, the person can. Let's say you don't want the code to run if the person hasn't pressed this submit button. Are you okay? You don't want the code to run if the person hasn't pressed this submit button. So to do that also, there is this function you will use. It's called a set. This function. Are you okay? So if this is set, now what is the name you use for the button? So you check it out. Here you don't need the name, you need the value. Are you okay? The others we were using the names we assign, but for the button we need the value. So the word we use here for the value is submit. If it was go, we will have used the word go. So it's submit. So in that case, is the submit you check. Inside here, then you have this. So you do that check. So if this is true, before you continue to do whatever you want to do. So this is what we check to make sure before this process will start. I mean that submit button is clicked.
That if it's a function.
This one.
And mostly, like when you do this, after the brackets, you open this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So with this, you don't need to do that.
You will. I think I've explained it severally. That if after the if, there is only one thing. Are you okay? Only one thing like this. Then that curly bracket is not important. But since we have more than one, it's a must. You have to put this one in the curly bracket so that it will be that the true condition. So everything here you are saying should work if this is true, if the button is clicked. So that is it for today.
In the case of submit, when you open your form, you see that the name and then the value, the name is the word there, and they say,
No. I said if you are doing here, if you are doing these things, like the controls, the text box and other things, the processor checks for the name, what is associated with the name. But if it is a button, it search for what is associated with value. You know, these are arrays, associative arrays. So this is the key, this is the value. They are pairs. So if it is button you want to check whether it is clicked, there is set function will look for whatever is here. It doesn't have to be the same submit. It can be anything. But make sure that anything is what you will put inside here to do the check. But getting these ones to sanitize them, to get them first, sanitize them and assign them to this, that one you will use the value associated with this, the name. What you use in place of the name. Name is called to what? That is for this part. But for button, you have to use what you link to value. It makes sense. Just still struggling. Okay. So that is it. Any question, please? From Monday, we are going back to our website. Here. Monday, we are going back to our website. You know, we started with HTML, right? We did HTML. We spent a lot of hours. We couldn't do anything sensible. And then we move on relatively, like compared to a site a customer will need. Yeah, if you bring that out to me, I will not pay you. So, no, not that. You know it yourself. If you give someone a contract and the person brings the thing we did in the raw HTML, will you pay? Yeah, you will not pay. So that was what pushed us to use Bootstrap, so that we can have an enhancement. Okay, so from Monday we also see another step we can go, so that at least it will be quicker to get a working website for a client. You get it? Quicker to get a working site for a client. But the basics we went through is very important to understand. Yeah. Our starting time.
After break time, spend much time doing nothing. We come and spend a little time before.
Yeah, and then it's pushing the time to further.
We don't spend much time doing that.
So
The time we come,
It's time to.
I think it's our, like all of us, our responsibility. So let's see how fast we can, and exactly when we are in class. Yeah. I think we are not robots, so occasionally those things will happen. But I think we've covered a lot, so let's just sacrifice to finish it. Sure. I will slack up. But please, let's remember the assignment we have to do, and then let's create a page also for registration. Yes, I'll give the details in Slack. We want to create a form that the user will input, let's say name, what. Then we will capture all using the PHP, the post. Are we okay? This one is the inside. That is what it is to check, but see the parameters. Create a function.
On it. So what do you want now? So we have to copy form.
It's working now. Looks like it's working.
And it's on weekend.
Yes,
That experience is wrong.
Okay, if you are, you can get
Let's see the
3 days.
Hey, Jenny, here they are.
then let's go.
Basic, it's not going yet. Yo, this is your party. Baby.
No, just like was like it. Maybe they're part of me. I was saying someone Error, one plus one is a poor.
That's also in the MO.
Remember the one plus one, I'm a two, one plus one, I'm a two. That's a very essence, no name.
Hey, yeah, so exactly. I know you. I wanted your kind.
See that?
Yeah, working the good man along with your oil.
What is it? What is the add function?
In my.
This one, they are not from heaven. We did them. Slash. These are the
now, what is it?
line 3
I can't see you.
And I want to get on that train. I'm on putting it around. Eu quero tirar o chumbo de Video. He has been laughing. The woman Mr. Kaunda said, What's the green say?
Say, errors. He's taking them home.
Oh,
you work on them.
Errors. Nah, so bring it back.
So,
Errors. You never get errors. They've been slapping us.
This thing we have to get errors. That killer one.
This one,
I know the girl. If I get errors, I will tell them me man we are getting errors.
So you didn't bring the air. Oh, we must throw that.
Oh, no. Pen drive. Yes, and I say, Mr. Monger, and the project AI,
Hey, I'll feel like side.
if you hear you should this like user interface. Like this we are the user interface.
Yeah.
It's a login interface. And assign
So there are
Is it a fact that we are just and have you checked the statistical? Yes, I checked that. Almost like it was down. Almost like it was down. Oh, like I think I even opinion that. This is some papa. Look at this one. Look at this. Seriously.
Like, look at this. Government standards. She knew of statistical data.
So it's like, I'll try to follow them. I'll follow them. And I to go to the I'll go to the I'll follow them.
Okay.
Sabajas. And this is easy. For do this, man.
Wow, man. And you never say now, will be.
Enter your username. This machine is username and password.
I'm a kind.
We need username. We need password.
Debbie.
We need password as well.
Well, I'm in trying.
Yes, you come out as well. Kids now.
I mean, you say, no, yeah. So the username password is. From the you have a question for password.
I will call you. Then we are We like when we do something like okay, that's fine. When they tell me
So they are bro.
who was
Maybe that's not. Yeah, and I don't know
Okay. Well, why are we not getting the properties?
Mr. Kaunda.
My sister.
So what's up? I'll send you the thing.
I will watch you. This stuff is unnecessary. Pause.
I'm sick.
Go and rest.
Cara, não é mesmo. He wants to get it 100%.
Okay, Mr. Kaunda, I'll send you presets. Some. Why is that from? I sound like a threat.
I don't want to show
He says he wants something. He wants it to do something of that sort.
You are doing it. So.
I have sent you that.
Okay, you push it to me. That is up to you. You are doing it.
I don't want to know.
Or maybe turn it this way. You know, it's further this way.
Yeah, I'm not drinking there. I don't buy it.
Okay.
More to guest. More to guest.
So right on your machine.
The guest.
No, not the guest. It's your WhatsApp message.
It's there, but I'm not connected to the internet. I'll check it. And I'll give you feedback.
So tomorrow, right?
Yes, tomorrow. Tomorrow will be available.
Yes.
It's up to you.
No, it's not Saturday.
Yeah, actually, it's
serious one. No.
Okay.
So the guy is
Which type of sickness? I think I'm also having a reaction.
Or you remove
it was giving some sound. I was playing something, so when this one pulled,
Is this the screen itself or the protector?
I've never bothered to check what is spoiled. So instead of, I wanted to repair it, so that's why I just removed the battery.
You are the one in the other. Another one more one. I see another area. That green is also
So I can ask pull you here.
Good. Gana ba san kun mashi wawanci kawai kan wani mutum ne wani ne shi ولما بلغ أشده واستوى آتيناه حكما وعلما وكذلك نجزي المحسنين ذكر أثر ودخل المدينة على حين غفلة من أهلها بعد لما نبين رجل وصفه شو أساسي ما توصل سوسن المسج سأقولنا شنو تسمى kamu tu minta ni. Yang tu aja je. Anda nak baca mana English?
Cable is faster than pen drive.
Terminal they are begging the card. They won't be as easy.
Since morning, I've not checked well out.
How your WhatsApp account? What type of account?
Business account.
How do you do it?
It's separate. That's why you download that one.
Okay, you download it separate.
Yeah.
And it can do everything the normal one does.
Yeah. You can transfer this one to easily if you install. There was one guy whose desktop was transferring around 20 megabytes. It's around 37, 38, comes on, depending on the file. I was very surprised when I saw it. Then my machine transferred in kilobytes. So I hadn't even seen like 1 megabyte data transfer. And then his machine desktop, if you are copying something, so somewhere around 20 megabytes. I said, hey. It's done properly. Yes, you can park.